wow, October or November of 2008 in Southern Oltenia, and working with children, with children's workers, and as well with widows, which I've also enjoyed very much. I have saved several street dogs. And so one of my relationships with neighbors came out of that. And we are now good friends, and they'll often will bring me clothing and things that they have saved for me to give to widows. Another family, they often will call to ask for help. I think I mentioned to you, Nicole, that they've asked for things like moving pigs and taking them to an emergency in the hospital. And I know that there are people who practice witchcraft. And so sometimes in my yard will appear strange animal parts and objects and things. And that's part of the way that they'll place curses. So I just keep praying for God to work in hearts and lives, that I will continue to show his love. And the old building where I used to live, people have asked me to teach their children English. And now that I have a home, it's wonderful because the little ones can come here. I have a nice setting. Or a lady from my building that her mother's is quite elderly. So during the quarantine, called on me several times to help her with just some needs and things so that she could stay protected. But I was able to go out and assist with that, which is really fun. So initially, my heart was children's ministry, that hundreds and thousands of boys and girls would hear the good news. But because our church now, when I first moved here, it was a church plant. So all the missionaries that came here, that was our vision. And God has now established a church. We have a full-time pastor. And so many of our missionaries, they have now moved on and they're starting their own church plant in other villages. So I began to ask, well, God, where is my role now? And so many of the missionaries have caught the vision for children's ministry. They are doing their own groups. Some have even started Awana. And so I just began to ask, where is my place? And one night, as I was really considering this and I needed to write a job description to our pastor, those words came to my mind, support worker. And as I thought about the things that give me joy right now in this period that I'm here, I began to realize that the things that I enjoy are all in support, whether it's supporting our social assistant that has the after school program and really needed desperately some other helpers, or whether it's supporting my neighbors or supporting our missionaries and coming and helping, coming alongside of them if they need help, or just encouraging single missionaries that are here on the field, some of the ladies. Just before I came to Romania, I had met a couple named Derek and Jennifer Mann. And I was out in Calgary for our annual conference, and he took my pastor and I out for coffee, and he explained to us that he was coming here to support the Romanians with the vision God had given them. So he used an illustration. He said, if the Romanians say to me, Derek, God has given us a vision to dig a hole, then he said, great, I will dig alongside of you. I'll help you dig the hole, and I will even provide the tools to dig with. And that always remained with me, that servant heart, and again, a support role so that they could fulfill the dream that God has for them, but that we would come alongside. And so I realized, God, you brought me to that place, and it gives me much joy to do that, to support those around me, whether it's the missionaries and their vision, or just to support non-believers, but in that way to show love to them through serving them. One is really encouraging. One is a rather sad situation. In the one situation, a widow, she had pension, she's very poor. So the quarantine and lockdown was very difficult for her because her only way for income is to work for people. And she was no longer allowed to do that. She has no water, no electricity, no way to get food. So it was a blessing to be able to at least help with groceries, to help with firewood. But her roof started to cave in. Her bedroom roof ceiling collapsed. And one of our EMCC churches had sent a gift of money, didn't indicate what it was. What about blessing her with a new roof? So we have tried for a couple of months to make this go forward, and we just keep being blocked. And so just recently, she told me about a house that's for sale. And when she told me the price, I didn't believe that it could be possible to buy a house for that. And anyways, as I looked at the amount that this EMCC church had given as a love gift, it is enough to cover the cost of the house and a little bit extra to help her with her initial bills, or maybe, the documentation that we'll need to exchange the property. So I'm just blown away that God is maybe going to buy through our EMCC family a house for somebody that this will be her first time to have a house and to have lights and to have water and a refrigerator and a stove that works. So I'm really excited about that. And the other case that is very sad is that God led me just in the midst of a situation that involved a husband that sexually abused his wife's, one of her handicapped siblings. And he just brought me right exactly at that time. I had not seen them for many, many weeks. And I had prayed that very morning. And I had said, God, I yield my hands, my feet, my voice, my eyes, my ears to you to use however you want today. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard to have to be part of something like that. But I also knew, okay, God, he's just shown me through his word how much he loves the oppressed, the widows, the orphans, those who are suffering. And so the lawyer asked if I would be part of a testimony or witness in a court case, just praying for this whole family and even for the husband, that God will he's not willing that it perish, but that all should come to repentance. And so I pray that through this, he will do something wonderful, a miracle for this family. He'll heal, restore, bring forgiveness, and that he'll just continue to bless and to guide in this whole situation. During the lockdown, when we were really confined to our homes, I began to spend more time just seeking the Lord, seeking his heart, and really began to ask him instead that he would just give me his fire and his passion and a humility and a deeper love, and really a fresh vision that would excite me each day to get up for what it is that he has. And so it's encouraging to me when I'm hearing recently stories of people more in my age group and how God is using them in the mission field or in different places, sometimes in really incredible ways, to not give up or not think it's all over, right? That God still can have something amazing. And even if I don't know what that's going to look like, I feel really content right now. I am really enjoying the opportunity to serve in the places that he's opened for during this time. And so my heart is filled with joy for that.